Please stay from me.
What's up, roommates? It's your girl Tembi, and I am here with the August Alsina in the house.
Y'all are in my house.
I know,
right now.
very beautiful home.
Thank you so
very
much.
Beautiful home.
I said this once, I'm gonna say this again, that I don't allow a lot of energy into my home.
Yeah.
I'm very protective about that. So you being here, it means that I really got love for you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. We're just gonna go straight into it. Earlier you mentioned that during the live, you mentioned that you were gonna basically run away from music at some point. Why is that?
Whew. Man. First of all, I should say that this is my first interview in a long time,
Yes.
in about 4+ years, so I'm a little, not nervous, but
Anxious.
I'm a little anxious. But I think that when you are an artist, that's kind of all people see you as. And you lose sight of the human that's within a person, within this body or within this soul, that there's a human, and there are many emotions that comes with it. And I think that people don't talk about the idea of, that we're always like, oh man, if I just had this, if I just had money, or if I just had this, I would be okay. And we don't really realize that it could be so traumatizing to go from absolutely nothing. And then having a little something, in the weight of trying to figure out how do you balance all of this new added pressure into your life. And as far as happiness goes, you have to make a decision, or at least I was having to make a decision, and am still even having to make a decision. What's important to me internally? Is it fame? Is it money? Is it family? Is all of these things that you have to go through? And my happiness is more important to me than anything in the world. I could be in a hut somewhere on a beach and I would be happy.
So you've been obviously going through a lot lately. So even before we get into all of that, like, how are you? Like, mentally, physically, like, how are you? It's okay.
I'm going through my process. I'm going through my journey. And I'm not looking for any sympathy, because I know that God has me even when I feel that God doesn't, or even when I'm talking to God in a rage. and I can't hear God responding to me. I'm just in a space that I know that there are only certain things that you can learn about God through suffering. And while I'm suffering, and while I'm watching my nieces suffer, loving them.
And for those who don't know, you recently lost your sister. So sorry for your loss. So this is what he's speaking when he means his nieces. There's 3 of them. And you've now taken on the role of basically being their father. What are the pressures of that?
They call me Dami. It's dad and mommy mixed together.
That's beautiful.
And just the weight of that title alone, because I don't have kids of my own. It makes me want to be what I know I need to be for them, because I grew up with my father dead and having a strange relationship with my mother. So I know what it's like to go through life without having a person you can run to, or without having a certain type of foundation. So I'm saying all of that to say that I am how I am. And I am how I am until I get to more of what I'm supposed to be.
How is your relationship with your mom now?
At this point in life, your mother is your mother. My mother gave me life. For that, I'm always thankful. And for that, I'll always love her. And that's all I really ever can do is just love her through whatever emotion I may feel, whatever emotion she may feel. But my mother, she pushed me through her body. That was my home for a long time. I lived inside of her. So there will always be a certain amount of love and respect that I have for my mother.
You've spoken about your overcoming your addiction with Percocets. Now, going through so much in life right now, does something like that pull you back or continue to push you forward to stray away from that? Because it could go either way.
Of course it makes you, of course it makes you want to numb and not feel the pain of what's going on. But I think the beautiful thing about pain is you go into it and the only way out is the way through. You have to go through it because no matter what, the pain that you're running from will always be there until you confront it. And there's this thing about fear that we have. It's fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. That's your two options. So it's easy to not confront it. It's easy. But the hard part is to face it. So of course, there are those thoughts like, I can just pop a pill and I can just be out of this shit. I can be oblivious to it. I can be numb to it. But how can you be numb when you got 3 little girls who aren't numb and they feel everything? And they look into you.
Are you considering possibly legally adopting them, or has that not, crossed your mind? Have you not thought that far yet?
I mean, I'm just doing what my sister asked me to do it, and that's just to
take care of them,
raise them up in the way that they should be. Because there's people on their mother's side that they have relationships with.
Okay.
And it's really not about ownership for me.
It's very important.
It's about impact. What the type of impact I have on your life. I mean, but I would adopt them in a second, no questions asked about it. Those are my kids.
Right.
Period. I'm what they have.
In the future, do you want kids, or are you thinking, that this is it?
Do I want kids? I mean, the joy that my nieces give me, I wouldn't mind. But I think at this point in my life, my babies, they still they kids.
Yeah.
And that's my focus. And maybe once they get older, I could possibly have a kid and I can know that, hey, y'all gonna look out for my little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not in disagreement with having a child. It's just really about the circumstance being what it should be
Right.
in order for me to bring more life into this world.
You know, like you said, you didn't have necessarily the best upbringing and things like that. What is it that made you not continue that cycle within your own life? Because you've got a good head on your shoulders. You've got, like, your wisdom is beyond me.
I think when you are desperate and you suffer a lot, and you just get so tired of suffering that you would do just about anything to get out of that space. I'm a person who feels everything, even stuff that's not mine. I feel the world. I feel the pain of the earth and the universe. So I think when you have to live with that on your shoulders and live with that in your gut and in your heart, you are just about willing to do anything to work to get that off of you, to get that energy out of you, or to somehow be planted and grounded, because I would have described myself as very porous in the past, and I'm just so thankful to God for allowing me to get my feet planted in a way that I'm not withering.
What is that process you take from going through such a traumatic experience on Christmas Day, mind you, to a month and a half later, putting out this EP that's all about, you know, love? What is that mindset you had to put yourself in to separate yourself from everything you're going through and all the weight that's on your shoulders?
I think that's the form of alchemy that I was talking about. I think that in a lot of ways, we are all some form of a scientist. We are all some form of a magician. We are, whether we believe it or not. But to be able to create something from absolutely nothing, that's magic. And my process, which is a part of the reason why I've had to pull back so much, is to really focus on going into myself so that I can deal with a lot of pain that's stuck inside of my gut, or the misery stuck inside of me, so that I don't pass that on to other people.
Do you go to therapy, or is it all internal?
I actually don't go to therapy. It's not something that I wouldn't be open to, but my therapy is kind of, I spend a lot of time with myself. A lot, like I told you. I don't know, I can count on hand by that you are the maybe, I don't know, maybe 5th, 6th person or something to ever step foot in my house.
Wow.
I spend a lot of time with myself, and I spend a lot of time with my thoughts, because, like I said, going from one space in life to another space, it's a drastic change, and mentally and spiritually you have to be prepared for it. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of time to get there. So each and every day, it's a journey. So I have to do so much work. I have to do work every day. It's every hour on the hour to keep myself grounded. Because just like that, the old me is calling. Mm-hmm. Devil in my ear saying that he missed the old me. Because it's so easy to go back to everything that you know, because it's normal. And newness of life is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. What makes you happy outside of the music and your family? What is it that just brings you joy from the inside?
Happiness is a pursuit. So I think that because it's a pursuit, it's an everyday discovery mm-hmm. of what makes you happy. I think I enjoy the simple parts and pieces of life. A conversation like this makes me happy because I get to express my true self and the core of myself, and I get to have you actually listen to not me, but my spirit is talking to you. Mm-hmm. In this house, I can feel the house being filled with the spirit of this conversation. Mm-hmm. What makes me happy is knowing that somewhere in the world somebody will hear this conversation and will be touched and motivated by it. Because they'll be able to relate. So
what is your relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith? Because we saw on the Red Table Talk, shout out to Jada, she played a huge role in you going on this journey where you go the sober route. Just a simple phone call where she broke down. So what role does she play in your life?
Jada is a friend that everyone should have. She is one of the main reasons of my restoration in people and in humans and in women. She has played such a huge role in my life, in my recovery, in my willingness to do and be more and better of a man and human for other people on this earth, and also not just other people, be better and more kind to myself. She is somebody that I believe should or could and would be the greatest part of someone's life in friendship. Yeah.
I can feel that, you know, that she's definitely someone special in your life. Because, you know, on the internet, people are always trolling.
Of course.
There's the
That's fine.
There's the narrative that the Smiths adopted August Alsina.
Well, I'm way too grown for,
right.
for that.
But, you know,
right?
people like to troll.
Yeah.
Then there's the narrative that Jada and August, you know, that whole thing. And
that's fine too.
Right. It's I can feel the way you speak about her, because that's not the first time I've heard someone speak of her in that light. Like, she must really be an angel in people's lives, because there's plenty of people who've spoken on Jada like they wouldn't be who they are or where they are without her guidance.
No, she's definitely added a lot to who I am, and she's one of my biggest fans and one of my biggest supporters.
Do you have a relationship with Will as well?
Of
or
course.
is it mostly with Jada?
Of course, the whole family. The whole family.
Right.
The whole family. They hold me down, man. Always. They all hold me down. And I'm grateful to have come across people like those people, just because of who they are internally. Because my good friend says that you can either get around kings and be a king, or you can get around kings and become a servant.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, since you so in the family, can you have them adopt me? Because I'm probably too old, but I'll take it.
I can definitely holler about it for sure. For sure. For sure.
What has been the transition and the biggest difference with your music now being an independent artist from being backed up by a label?
Well, for so long, I think about Prince, and when he had slave written across his face. There's a lot of things that can make you feel held back, and you can feel like a slave, literally. So I think just having the freedom to do and be more of yourself, and you're not waiting on a label, or you're not waiting on somebody to, you know, as far as like what these labels go, there's one president and CEO that comes in, and then boom, that CEO leaves, and then there's another president and CEO that comes in. So once you get acquainted with this person, you gotta go and get acquainted with that person and get them into your movement of your project and everything that you're doing, until it goes into it's a merry-go-round of nothingness. So as an independent artist, the work is harder. You gotta grind 30 million times as harder. But there's nothing better than working for yourself.
Right.
And that's the beauty of being able to put this project out as an independent through my own label, and just kind of getting that process started and getting into the groove of that. And it also adds more responsibility to you, but I don't have to answer to anyone. You know, and like I said, the push might not be as big as someone who has this huge label giving them all these millions of dollars to push their stuff, but people will grow with you, and people will follow your lead when it comes to what you do artistically and who you are as an artist. And I think that's really the biggest difference, is just being able to move accordingly how you decide to move. Like I said, I got off the plane, I wanted to do Forever in a Day EP, did it in 5 days, put it out. No question. Then, and if I decide to do another EP right after this, get it done, put it out, no question.
What plans do you have for your music career? Since you've been away for so long, you haven't put out an album in a while. Do you plan to put out an album? Do you plan to go on tour?
I do plan on putting out an album. I don't know exactly when, but I feel like I have been a bit reserved, like I said, for a while, that I actually want to kind of continue to feed people EPs and projects until I get to the album process, just to get them more acquainted to the person and the artist that I've grown to become. So
I'm interested to know, who do you think is the king of R&B?
Oh God. Here's the deal, right?
Yeah.
I don't entertain foolishness and nothingness, right?
Right.
And I say that with respect to everyone, because you know, God said that God has made us in its image. So we're obviously all kings in some type of form, way, or capacity.
Right.
But when I say that, I don't indulge in that type of stuff, because for me it's not about being a king. I don't want to rule. I don't want to be over anyone. For me, it's about impact. How can I impact you in your life? I don't need to be an emperor. I don't need to rule anyone as a king. Because through impact, I can show you that, hey, you too are a king. You too are a queen. So I don't really indulge in that type of, because it's an egoic space that doesn't create room for growth. So I think it's good for you to tell you, we all supposed to feel like, yeah, nigga, I'm the motherfucking shit. Give me my motherfucking propers.
Right.
Yeah, and give me my motherfucking propers.
Give them. Right.
Because I do this shit. And that's just what it is. You know that I do this shit. I mean, that's not a conversation.
Right.
We can hear that through the music. I don't need to troll you online to tell you I'm the king of R&B. Because guess what? I'm so much more than R&B.
So right now I'm this close to you and you're so close to my face, and I can't help but ask you, what is your skincare routine? Because your skin is amazing. It is amazing.
That's so
wow.
sweet. No, that is sweet. Thank you.
I've been looking at you like, okay, how do I get that?
Nah, man. I'll tell you, if I told you, it would probably bother you, because I literally just wash my face.
I don't believe it. Just with water?
I wash my face with any type of exfoliant, and
what's the exfoliant? We gotta know.
Is it Tatcha?
Tatcha?
I don't know, but they ain't paying me. So
okay, we ain't gonna put it out there.
Some type of exfoliant, and I do a little scrub.
Yeah.
And I literally do that, and I just I drink so much water because, like right now, I have to pee so bad. I drink so much water that I just basically try to keep myself as hydrated as possible because I'm allergic to everything outside in nature, dust, the dust that's in the air. I'm allergic to grass, trees. It's ridiculous. So I drink as much water as I possibly can, and I try to keep myself hydrated, and I just pray that I wake up the next day and I hope that my face isn't bloated or swollen because of my allergies. And you know, I just take a shower, man. And I take a really long one too.
Yeah.
So I just try to clean myself as much as possible. I think I have OCD in that way, where I have to take at least about 3 showers a day. And
3 showers a day.
oh yeah, I have to. As soon as I finish this, I will definitely be hopping in the shower.
So is it like morning, afternoon, night?
It's random.
Or just any time?
When my body feels like, it starts with my hands. If my hands feel like, oh, your hands feel gross, we're going to take a shower.
Wow.
So it depends. It's no kind of time frame on it. It just depends.
What kind of women do you date? Like, what kind of women are you interested in? I feel like it has to be a specific type. Sitting here with you and getting to know you and hearing you speak, I don't think any woman can just pass by and get your attention.
I'm not pressed to have relations with anyone. I'm not pressed to just have sex. I did that in my younger days, and I'm saying that like I'm old now, but I really went through a phase of, oh, I'm trying to hit something every day, all day.
Yeah.
And
did you shower then after that each time?
Every time. Because if you're a hypochondriac like me, you just like, oh my God, I just had sex. I hope I don't have something. Like, exactly that. So you go and you wash it all off, and then, you know, spiritually, like not having something like a STD, but I mean, a spiritually transmitted disease, you want to wash it off. And I mean, with super scorching hot water, you want to get it off of you. Like, this person's spirit and body odor is on me. I want it off. So I went through that phase, and I got over that phase quickly, thank God. And because thank God I didn't make a kid because of it. And I guess, you know, God knew what God was doing, because I now have 3 beautiful little kids.
Yeah.
Now, my beautiful nieces. And I think with women, it's kind of a spontaneous thing where, you know, it just depends on kind of who you bump into and what you bump into, and if it's meant, it's meant, and then if it's not, it's not. And really, I think that most of this is about, I'm really never like really looking for friends, but I think when something is genuine, you always kind of have a connection with friends in some type of capacity. And I think that I just kind of want to always start with building a friendship with a person, whereas before I'm like, all right, let's just fuck.
Right.
Like that type of thing.
Well, when you speak of your nieces, they are so lucky, because I see like a true father figure in you, and you seem like you know how to not only treat women but raise women.
I'm learning.
You know, so
I don't know a thing about it, but I'm learning.
Yeah. Well, I've learned so much from you today. Thank you again for inviting us into your home. What do you want to leave people with at the end of this interview?
The new EP, Forever and a Day, is out right now. That's an independent release, and we gonna shake the motherfucking world.
Hey.
Settle down. I know that you ain't seen me in a while, but that don't mean that we gotta rush. Baby, we can take our time.